morning, Gravity Falls. Welcome to a very exciting episode of Gossiping Gossipers. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the above, I am here with the beautiful, the talented, the
Aw.
very sexy LemonFoDrizzle
Wow.
art.
Yeah.
Why don't we start off by how did you first get into Gravity Falls? Like, what was your first viewing experience like? How did you first started watching the show, and what was your first reaction to it?
Oh gosh. Well, this was ages ago when I was still in university, so I can barely remember what my reaction was, but I was hooked enough to, follow it as it gets released and everything. Um, it wasn't a hyper focus for me back then, though, unfortunately, because back then I was too busy being obsessed with Adventure Time. So yeah, so I was too obsessed with that to focus on anything else. Like how right now I'm too obsessed with Gravity Falls to focus on anything else. Like there's the Owl House and Amphibia and everything, and I know those are all great shows, but I'm just like, whoa, hi Stan. You know what I mean?
Fair
I'm just,
enough.
I'm just like constantly there, and I love Stan.
What's not to love about him?
I know, right? I mean, apart from the fact that he's technically a crook, but we can forego that shit. Whatever.
We all have our flaws.
Yeah, we have bad days and good days, whatever.
Okay, so you were kind of watching it as it was airing. When did you
Mhm.
really start to get into it?
Literally last year. I don't know what it
Hmm.
was. No, I do know what it was. Sorry, I'm lying. It was the dating game. That's what got me
Oh
into
no!
it. Yeah, like I've known about that dating game for ages, and at first I played it as not as a goof, but like I was just
Hmm.
curious, so I played it, and at the time I thought Ford was hot, so I played I played Ford route first, and yeah, it was nice and fluffy and sweet. And actually thinking back, I think I played Ford route back in 2018 or 2016, actually,
Hmm.
way back when. But
Hmm.
you know what? It was Stan that got me into this because I played Stan's route last year, and that's what fucking jump started everything. Because
Hmm.
Stan's route was unyieldingly sexy. So
Yes, he is.
that just kind of that just kind of started stuff. And then I got
Yeah.
into fan fiction again, which I hadn't been into for like 10 years before last year.
Hmm.
It literally just ricocheted from there until I went on to Tumblr, and then I started looking up at the old Gravity Falls tag, mainly the
Hmm.
Stan Pines tag, because I was
Hmm.
obsessed with Sovo Knight's art of him. You know,
Oh.
yeah. Oh my god, the way they draw him and Ford, holy
Hmm.
shit, it's
Oh.
it's perfect. It's literally, I'm still waiting to commission them because I
Oh, so
really,
am I.
I really want to see Cowboy Farmer Stan in their style. Like,
I don't think anyone would survive that.
yeah, I know.
I think they would see it and then get heart attacks and literally die. So
Yeah.
I don't know if the world's ready for that.
Oh, the world will be ready for it. Uh, yeah, I mean,
Oh.
I think their commissions are closed at the moment, so yeah, there's a bit of a waiting going on. But I respect that.
Mhm.
They're people, like commission
Mhm.
people who artists are people. Wow,
Of
let me start
course.
that again. Artists are people, not machines. That's what I'm trying to say.
Fish are friends, not
Yeah.
things. Uh, okay, so back to the dating sim. Have you seen that video where Alex, Ariel, and Dana are playing that?
Yes. Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness. I I'm so glad Alex read out Stan's part in his voice.
I love how like he's not even like disturbed. He's just impressed. Like
He's just he's just chill about everything, which I really respect. And
yeah,
then
and
he
I
just
love 20 minutes into it, Ariel's like, when are we gonna get to fuck them? Like,
Yeah. And the part where Stan was like checking out the car or something, I can't remember the exact part, but that's when Alex groaned and moaned in his voice. I think he destroyed so many fans with that. Like,
I get so flustered whenever I watch that video. Like, I start
me
it and then
too.
like every 30 seconds I have to stop and like not even just pause, like I have to stop and like go
Yeah,
do something else for like a minute and then come back
yeah.
and then it's a continuous cycle. Like, we should only take 20 minutes, ends up taking like 3 hours. Like, I
God,
just
I know that feeling. It's just like there's been so many moments where I just have to stop and just put my face in my hands, like, you know.
yeah, it's so, oh my goodness.
Uh, yeah, freaking hell. I'm 30, but I feel like I'm a 15-year-old all over again, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being 30 and feeling like you're
Oh no, don't.
15. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
don't
thing.
worry. I'm glad I'm 30. I'm I'm at that point where I just don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Good, good. Life's too
Yeah.
short to waste it giving a shit. You got back into the show. When did you start drawing fan art for it? Like, when did you cross that line?
Oh man, literally February of 2020 was when I
Wow.
started actually drawing it. And
Hmm.
like, cause like I was trying to figure out how to draw their fucking faces because like
Hmm.
I wanted to kind of keep the Gravity Falls style, but at the same time make them handsome looking, kind of like how Silver Knight did. But
Yeah.
although Silver Knight is like has a very realistic style, like
Hmm.
everything they draw is very like anatomically correct and everything. But I wanted to have mine to be in like a cartoony style. I wanted it to stay very Gravity Falls look, and but just kind
Yeah.
of put my own twist on it. And I ended up just kind of making all of the male characters looking buff with
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
pectorals and great forearms and all that. And
Hmm.
I need to check myself, but no regrets. Like I do like the style I've come up with now, but in the beginning I've got some sketches actually. I'll have to dig them up or something. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I think I should really do a redraw of the stuff I've done last year. But in the beginning, it was very kind of wonky, I guess.
I
Um,
could definitely tell a difference between like your earlier fan art that you released in today.
mhm,
It's a good kind of difference. Like, I
yeah,
think what sort of sets, the original Gravity Falls art style is a very
hmm,
unique and fluid one. And I
yeah,
always like seeing how other fan artists like yourself like sort of
mhm,
do that, but with significant differences that put your own mark on it. Like, I can look at a
yeah,
piece of your artwork and I don't even have to look at the name. I can go, oh, that's Lemon's artwork. Oh, that's
yeah,
Soho's. Oh, that's Steph's. Like, because
yeah,
you all incorporate your own little twist, but at the
yeah.
same time, like, there's some fundamental pieces of the original Gravity Falls
Oh yeah,
art style that stay with it. Like, it's a happy little blend.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Like, for example, the eyes. I
Yes.
I have actually tried to draw their eyes separate. You know what I mean? With a gap between.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
for some reason, I can't seem to make it look good. But
I think the eyes are like the best part. Like, you
yeah,
do an excellent job with the eyes, and like,
oh, thank you.
yeah, and like I'm a firm believer that you are your greatest critiquer, like you are your
Oh
harsh
yeah,
judge. Cause like when I
yeah,
look at your art, for example, like I'm not looking at, oh man, there's a little gap between their eyes. I don't like it. Like, I'm not I don't give a
yeah,
shit what kind of pen or pencil you used for the line. I don't care
yeah,
if the knuckle is slightly off. I don't care. Like, cause I'm not
yeah.
looking for those things. I'm looking at just the
For the
overall thing. And so,
yeah,
like,
mainly Stan.
yeah, well, yeah, I love that. I really like the way that you draw Ford because you kind of bring back the chubbiness, like, because I love the Ford
Hmm.
that we got in the canon. I love him. I love him to death. But I can't help
Yeah.
but, he needs a sandwich. He's a he's a little on the skinny side. Like,
Yeah.
he's the poor baby. Like let's
I can
give him a
I can
little
see
meat.
that, to be honest. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that, to be like I do feel like he might be on the thin side because he wears a freaking sweater, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
why would he need to feel that cold, you know?
I mean, the man's been traveling from dimension to dimension for 30 years, and you know what
Mhm.
his priorities are. This entire time, he's been building a huge fucking weapon for Bill Cipher. Like, when
Yeah, yeah.
in Lost Legends, when he's a criminal and Stan finds out, he replies with, "Oh, I didn't steal food. I didn't steal clothes. I stole hundreds of parts for this machine." Like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of man that if he had a choice between stealing a loaf of bread or stealing a screwdriver, he'd steal the screwdriver. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm surprised he
I
didn't
love
come out of the portal completely like,
emancipated.
yes, like the only
Yeah. Like
logic can be is that he kept himself active and maybe a little
yeah.
muscular.
Mhm.
But don't worry,
Oh,
we could rely on Mabel to give him plenty of Mabel juice and
yeah.
cookies. And
Yeah. I bet you he drank that. I bet you.
oh,
Like off screen or
oh,
something.
no doubt about it. He probably heard
Yeah.
about Mabel juice. He was like, "Give it to me," and I'm sure he loves it.
Oh, but bless them. I always think about Forward and Mabel and like how they have such
Same.
a pure relationship. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
like
like they're such key characteristics that just pair incredibly together, I think.
yeah, I think it's because like oh, how do I explain this? I feel like okay, this is just like a theory. I feel
Mhm.
like when Ford hangs out with Mabel, it probably takes him back in time because in my opinion, Mabel is very similar to a baby Stan. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
feel like there's a hint of nostalgia there between him and Mabel hanging out. You know,
Mhm.
I hope
Right.
that doesn't sound weird, but
No, no,
like,
no, 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 no. I agree. I
yeah,
totally agree. Like, I think that's my theory as to why in the canon Ford didn't hang out with her as much as Dipper. Mabel being so similar to Stan, and it's just a little too
yeah,
painful still.
I think that could be true on more of a subconscious level because
Mhm.
like I feel like Ford is the type of person to kind of do things without realizing, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like I don't think he would ever deliberately avoid, his adorable niece, So
Mhm.
like I feel like he would just yeah, I feel like it would all be completely subconscious and, no one's fault except for uh Ford's issues really. Ah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. God, thinking back, Ford had been through so much shit. Like
And oh
like
yeah, like
I kind of relate to him a little bit. Just
mm,
ah I feel for the guy. Like I don't get why people hated him so well, no, actually, I do get it. I do
mhm.
understand why people hated him so much. But no matter how flat you make a pancake, it has two sides, Uh
Jesus, I love that metaphor. I've
yeah,
never heard that before.
literally, I heard that from Dr. Phil when I used to watch him like years ago, but I
Oh,
never forgot that quote because it's pretty good, to be honest. It's a good
I'm
quote.
gonna steal that. That's great.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
but yeah,
yeah.
basically it just means that Ford had his own perspective of things. Like
Mhm.
he felt like Stan really did hold him back, and
Mhm.
he would. I feel like the reason he fell for Bill's charms is because it's like he didn't know how to. I feel like okay. I think he felt validated by Bill because he's been
Mhm.
trying so hard to prove himself and prove that he's going to be amazing one day. And there was this person, this entity that was already treating him like he was amazing already. So like
Mhm.
I just felt yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
No,
I
no, no,
think
no. Yeah,
about
that's
Ford a
good.
lot.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like their design. Like, have you noticed
Mhm.
how their heads are basically just cubes? Like,
I
I don't
have
know why
noticed that.
I've always liked that about them. I don't really know why. And
I
yeah.
think it's because I saw someone like they were comparing like how old cartoons, their designs used to be so complex and take so much detail. Meanwhile, today's cartoons
Mhm.
very simple shapes and skeletons. And I don't think that's
Mhm.
necessarily a bad thing. I think that's a
Oh,
good
it's
thing
not.
because
Yeah.
you have a lot more flexibility. Like you can have a lot more fun with
Yeah.
facial expressions and movement. You know, if you
Yeah.
start with more simple character designs, you can build
Mhm.
more on top of that.
Yeah, and you know it when it comes to facial expressions and stuff like that, usually all it takes is one line to create this whole entire emotion. So you don't
Mhm.
actually have to make things so complex when it comes to character design. And like I hate it when people complain about how things are so different from back then and now because I see the character the simplified designs these days to be it's very good because like animators have to work fast, you know? They have to work a
Mhm.
lot. They have to work hard and fast for peanuts, you know? And
Mhm.
they deserve more respect and because you know, the industry can be shit sometimes. So like
Mhm.
I really wish people would think more about what goes into animation before they start, you know, becoming all elitist like, oh, oh, yeah, I prefer 2D animation only. No 3D shit. You know? None
Yeah.
of that shit.
Right. I agree. Yeah, like do your
Yeah.
homework a little bit before you start going on some tangent.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how something works, don't complain how it's being operated.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or how it should work. Like, fuck off,
Right.
mate. You know?
I think that's the first time I've heard you say mate. I love it.
Oh, really? I see it all the time, I think.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's just the first time I've heard you say it, but like, yay.
Ah, yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I cuss like a British sailor, you know?
Oh, hell yes. Yes.
I am trying to hold back right now, but I do love a good swear word. You know, fuck it. It just conveys the perfect emotions every time. Sorry, I was about to ask, what were we talking about?
Oh, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah,
I think we were talking about how people like we went from talking about your design of Ford to just Ford in general, and then back to your design,
yeah,
and then like how
yeah.
characters are so hard to animate.
Oh God, that's
I love,
quite a tangent. Okay.
I know, I love it though. I love it. You know, it's just
Yeah, yeah, me too.
two girls talk about Gravity Falls 5 feet apart because they're a little gay. Like, what are we doing?
I did that. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh gosh.
Uh,
Oh yeah, sorry, what were you about to ask?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, what gave you the idea for ArtistStan? Because that was
Oh,
really cool, and that's what that I think that was some of the first stuff you started to like post on
yes,
Tumblr.
I'm pretty sure that was my first AU of stand that I showed, you know, like I
Mhm.
presented. I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. It is. It
One
is.
that
Yeah.
started it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, the reason for that is because like you know in the comics, The Lost Legend, when he was,
Mhm,
you know, he was aspiring to be a comic artist but got shot
mhm.
down by that guy. That broke my heart. So like I just wanted him
Oh,
to I wanted to create an AU where he would pick up art again, you know,
mhm,
like give it another go. Now that his brother's back, he can like help guide him in a good direction, you know, because
hmm.
they both draw, as far as I'm aware. I do still have plans for the artist stan because like
Mm.
I don't know if I should say this. It's a slightly spoilery. So artist stan and the whole Jackie Stan original story are connected.
Oh,
Yep.
I did not know
Yeah,
this.
yeah, they're connected. I'm not gonna say
Oh my
how,
gosh. Okay,
but
okay, that
you can probably guess how, but they are connected. And you know,
okay.
what I wanted to do in the beginning is to kind of showcase artist Stan and then bring in this. Oh look, my OC. Oh, who is this bitch? And then just kind of like start a comic about them too, and then it just
Mhm.
kind of all connects. I can't tell you
Cool.
how.
No, no, no. That's good. That's not too spoilery. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I do plan on getting back into the whole original Jackie Stan story, but
Ooh.
I just keep chickening out when it comes to comic panels, and I don't know why. So
It's a
I'm
lot
I'm
of work.
trying. It
It's
is, and
hard.
for some reason, I get very nitpicky about the placements of panels and what areas I should just kind of freely draw, what areas I should just like do this to a panel and stuff like that, or how many
Mhm.
panels I should have on one page and stuff. It gets very like I'm pretty sure I'm overthinking it. So like
Right.
I'm
Well,
trying
it's
to
good
kind
that
of yeah, I'm
yeah.
trying to kind of chill the fuck out about it and then just do it, you
Right. I
know?
mean, it's good to be a little nitpicky about yourself, but like again, like as a viewer, like I'm not gonna look at your panels and be like, "Oh man, Stan should have been moved a little bit more to the left. I can't believe she didn't like."
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna. No one is going to care. No one's gonna be that nitpicky. No one's going to be
Yeah.
that harsh on you.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah, you're
speaking
absolutely right. I just need to kind of, chill out and just do it.
speaking of Jackie, let's talk about the
Mm-hmm.
main bitch. She is
Yeah.
awesome. Like she's
Thank
incredible. Like
you.
I remember when I first saw her, I won't lie, I was a little scared because she had a
Ooh.
few similarities to my own character, and I was like, shit, did I somehow steal ideas from her? Wait, how
Oh,
is that even possible? I don't think I did, but like more and more like commonalities were popping up, and I was like, shit.
well,
Like,
now
but
our
that
characters are related, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
it's so that's another freaking out moment I had. Like when you proposed the idea, I was like, like I
Yeah,
was
'cause, like,
freaking out.
yeah, 'cause, like, when you wrote about her and I read about her and stuff, like, I thought, shit, she should be a cousin or something, you know? So
Yeah.
I just thought, yeah, fuck it.
Well, they just have a lot of like I mean, to get nitpicky, I mean, they're both black, they're both bisexual, they both are attracted to the Pine
Mm-hmm.
family. Like it just I
Mm-hmm.
love her to death. I love her to death. But again, my first initial thought was, "Oh wow, she's so cool." Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. Don't worry, I completely understand how you feel. Like I'm the same way, especially with my character Kelvin, because
Mhm.
his design is generic, to be honest. He's just a tanned, black-haired, tall himbo, Kronk. He's Kronk.
I never made that connection. Now you have to draw that scene where he's going, "Oh yeah, it's all coming together."
I
Like,
might.
please, please.
I might have to. I might have to actually. At
Just that
least in
one.
wearing Kronk's outfit because they're almost the same person. Yeah.
I mean, can he please make spinach puffs, please?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you know what? Calvin loves to cook, you know?
I
Uh,
did not
uh,
know that.
yeah, I haven't really showcased it yet, but I did actually get a question for the Kelford ask thing I put out,
Hmm?
which I still need to continue. I will continue it, everyone. I promise. But,
Yay!
yeah, someone asked me if Calvin, which one of the two, Calvin or Ford, who cooks more, and it is definitely Calvin because
Hmm.
Calvin has an Indian background. His mother is half Indian. He pretty much grew up in India for like 9 years of his life, and
Wow.
yeah, and like this was before they went back to I think England. Yeah, England. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, his mother is half Swedish, half Indian. He has spent a lot of time with his Indian grandmother, who is the person who introduced him to gemstones and all that. So it's thanks to her that he has this obsession with gemstones and
Wow.
everything. So
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, like where was I going with this? What was the question? Sorry.
That was great. I'm like taking notes here. Like, oh shit, Kelvin. Like, I'm learning so much about him. It's awesome. Um,
Yeah,
we were
sorry, I
talking
keep
about no, we were talking about Jackie, and that got us talking about Kelvin, which we'll talk about both plenty for sure. But you were
okay,
telling me a
yeah.
little bit like Kelvin's backstory and all that.
Yeah, yeah. I had a point, but I forgot it.
I mean,
um,
the boy's been everywhere, like India and England, and then like he makes his way to
Yeah,
Gravity Falls. Like,
yeah.
cool.
That's when he lives on his own, and like he opens up a gem shop, and he's also a gemologist as well as a geologist as well. So he has two PhDs, I think. Yes, he does.
Hmm.
So like he studies rocks and gemstones, and they're both like two different things. That's why
Hmm.
he gets called onto Gravity Falls, the mystery farm, and
Hmm.
helps them out with some shit which I still haven't decided on yet. But yeah, I really did have a point, but I've forgotten it.
Okay, it'll come to you. It's okay.
It will.
So,
Yeah,
going back to Jackie, what
yeah.
are some of the early, like, what was it like creating her? Like, what were some of her early
Oh, yeah.
images? What started the creation of Jackie?
I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think Jackie is a product of decades of, I don't know. Um, I guess I've been thinking about her for years, but
Hmm.
she is who she is now as a solidified, character. But I guess I've been thinking about, a type of character that I would look up to, like
Hmm.
I I guess I kind of created a female figure that I would look up to, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
cool.
she kind of developed, she's changed a lot over the years. I think I've had her for well over a decade actually. Um
Wow.
yeah. At one point she was actually a non-binary character called Lou who owned a Jaguar. But uh,
Wow.
yeah, then I changed Lou back into a cis female Jackie as we know now. Although I could
Hmm.
always bring back Lou because Lou was quite interesting too. Like
Yeah,
at
just bring
that
it back
point.
as her own separate or their own separate character. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah, because
interesting.
yeah, at the time Lou was a feral I was gonna say kid, but he wasn't a kid. He was sorry, they weren't a kid. They were an adult who lived in like a jungle or a forest. Rainforest, that's it.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure why I put them there. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was a cool sort of storyline. Like a really random storyline that I didn't really do anything with. I didn't really put much detail into it. But I
Hmm.
really like Lou and I'm gonna bring them back, I think. Um but yeah, Jackie. I think I really kind of solidified who she is over the past 7 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say 7 years because when I was 23, I started to kind of, you know, put her together into like a proper character because I wanted to do something with her.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until last year that I decided to just fuck it and just pair her up with Stan because
Hmm.
fun fact, in the dating sim, I named myself as Jackie, and ever
No,
since,
no.
yeah, literally,
Oh, no.
ever since I just I couldn't get it out of my head that Jackie and Stan would be good together. So I mean, it just kind of happened from there, and now we've got
Cool.
Jackie Stan and the 5 kids on the farm.
I know, it's so cute. And it's so
Yeah,
much
thank
fun
you.
watching it evolve over the year. Like,
Yeah,
I've been watching you, I think, since like watched you pretty early on, like February, March-ish, and it's
yeah.
so much fun just seeing it your character evolve so much and like getting to know more about her and seeing more of her
Oh, thank you.
personality come through. Yeah, because like in some ways she's still a little bit of a mystery. Like there's still bits and pieces of her
Hmm.
personality that we're
Yeah.
learning. And that's just
Hmm.
through, you can only get so much out of fan art. But that's I think
Yeah.
what is so exciting. It's like with each new piece of fan art, you're learning just a little bit more about this
Hmm.
character. And
Yeah.
she's such a good character and cuz I love characters that have a lot of layers. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of characters that are just one note. Like
Yeah. I
like
know
this
exactly what you
is
mean.
yeah, like this is the Mexican character. This is the gay
Mm.
character because we're not homophobic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because we've seen
Yeah,
those
I know
before.
exactly what you
Like,
mean.
this is the
The
black
whole
character because we're not racist. Like,
yeah.
this is a character that there was no rhyme or reason for why you gave her these things. It's just how she is.
Yeah.
Like, why did they make Perry the Platypus green? I don't know. He's just green. Like, sometimes, okay,
Yeah.
you don't have to have a reason for every tiny little thing. It's just that's their personality. That's just how they are.
Yeah.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, it makes me think about all the reboots we've been getting, like
Mm-hmm.
the She-Ra reboot, now the whole He-Man reboot, like
Mm-hmm.
everything from the 90s are just coming back, being rebooted and remade. And like some people don't like that, but I'm fucking excited for that because back then in the 90s, all the characters were one-dimensional, you
They
know?
were. I think
A,
one of
well,
my
a vast majority of them were, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite examples is like you look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the 80s cartoon. I love all
Mhm.
four turtles, but they were pretty much the exact same fucking thing.
They
Like you,
were.
you,
They
you go
were.
back and rewatch some of the episodes. Sometimes they would get the colors of the bandanas mixed up.
Really? Oh
Oh,
wow.
oh, there's plenty of examples where like Michelangelo will be
Yeah.
wearing blue for some reason. Like again, just shitty 80s animation. It's a product of its time. What are
Yeah.
you gonna do? But then you go
Yeah.
forward to
Yeah.
the 2012 version, and
Mm.
like they're
Oh
not
God.
only are they all drastically animated differently, like Mikey has
Yeah.
freckles, Donnie has a gap in his tooth, like they all are very distinctive. And it's not just, oh, Donnie's the smart one, Raph is the mean
Mhm.
one, like they have layers to them. Like
Yeah.
Raphael, yeah, he's the mean one, but he has a pet turtle. And like
Yeah.
he has a protective side to him, and
Mhm.
he's a bird person. Like he could get the pigeons to do
Yeah.
whatever he wants. Like same with Leonardo. Like he's a leader, but he's a huge fucking nerd. Like he loves Star
Yeah.
Trek, and like they all have layers to them. They're not just
Yeah.
one note dimensional characters anymore.
Yeah. And I love that they're doing that to the old 90s characters. Like
Mhm.
My Little Pony is a good example of that because like
Yes.
I used to love the ponies. I had a huge collection of the old 80s vinyl ponies. And but like when they rebooted The Friendship is Magic, they put it on a whole other level. And it
Mhm.
became popular for a reason because it's just amazing. And
Mhm.
that's why I'm making pony versions of Stan and Ford, and no one's gonna fucking stop me.
They're so cute. Like I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
why, but the way you colored their noses was just so cute. I
Yeah.
was just like, I want to boop them. Like I just want to
Yeah.
give it. I want to pet the soft little feather. I just want to. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
even
like
want to like. Uh,
yeah, it's like how could I not give them a pink nose? Yeah. Oh gosh.
uh,
Yeah. What was the question again?
we
Um.
were just talking about how Jackie is not a one-dimensional character.
Yeah. Yeah. There is quite a lot that I haven't revealed about her yet, like
Hmm.
her reasons for going to the mystery farm in the first place, or why. Um. Hmm. I almost spoiled something there. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, no spoilers in this. Sorry, guys, if you want to learn more about Jackie, you'll just have to follow her. Suck it up. This
Thank
is
you.
not what this show is for. so, if you don't,
Yeah.
so if you don't mind me asking, like, so
Hmm.
how would you describe early stages of Jackie and Stan as a couple? Like, with your first AU, they were like, um, was sort of similar to Stan's runaway days, his homeless days. Like they
Yeah.
were hopping motel rooms together. How would you
Yeah.
describe them as a couple back then versus
They
the
were.
couple versus the couple that they kind of are in the farmer AU.
They were, I would say, wilder
Mhm.
because, um, from what I remember, they both had. probably they both had more unresolved issues. Like,
Mhm.
um, yeah, like Stan, he was on the road for because he got kicked out. He going through all this shit. God knows what he'd been through. If he's killed someone, if he'd done prostitution or anything like that, we don't know what he'd been through. But
Right.
we know for sure that he's been pretty fucked up throughout that whole 10 years he was on the street.
Mhm.
So like yeah, like I kind of wanted to kind of add Jackie, give him Jackie to just kind of, I don't know, cheer him up.
Yeah, give him somebody. The
Yeah,
man needs
yeah.
someone to hold at night, someone to back him up when he wants to steal toilet paper.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized you quoted my comic.
I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah.
I loved, like, it's so bad how, like, obsessed I was. I was like, toilet
Oh,
paper, that's important, right? I gotta
yeah,
hold that. Like, when they get married, they're gonna throw toilet paper at the car. That's the thing now.
that's a good idea. I didn't think of that, and that's a good idea.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, comparing them to how they are now. So the whole point of the mystery farm is to kind of create a wholesome version of
Mm,
Gravity Falls, because like I just
mhm,
wanted them to have like a nice life, and a nice
mhm,
rewarding life from hard work and stuff like that. So
mhm,
in this AU, Stan is more stable, I would say. Like
mhm,
he doesn't have the issues that he would have had, from being kicked out.
mhm.
Although, fun fact, Stan does leave the farm for like a year. So
What?
like, yeah, he left the farm for like a year to live in the city. But I haven't decided yet if he was homeless or not in the city. I don't think I make him homeless, but he does leave the farm for a little while and then he comes back because he just wants to see what else is there. But, but yeah, like, you okay?
My mind's a little blown, but it's okay. I'm picking up the pieces. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm
it's okay.
fine. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
this
I mean,
is
because I can handle
yeah,
Shimmy and
yeah.
Ford leaving. Yeah, sure, whatever. But Stan, like,
Yeah, cause like this was during the time where Ford went to college.
right.
So he was kind of on his own, I guess.
Mhm,
So like I still need to write down this timeline, but uh what happens is that okay, it's the parents, Stan and Ford, and Shermie has already gone off to live his life as a businessman
mhm,
and goes off to college and Stan, and then that's when Stan decides to leave and just kind of see what else is out there. But then he comes back because he likes the farm.
mhm.
So
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Like,
yeah,
'cause even though it's an AU, I mean, Stan is still
yeah,
Stan, Ford is still Ford. I think that's something I
yeah,
really
exactly.
enjoy about your AU as well, is because, and maybe this is just being an asshole, but I kind of don't like AUs that change the canon personalities too much. Like, I'm okay with certain
Yeah.
aspects of the personality being fleshed out more than others, but when it gets to a
Hmm.
point where you're like, Stan would never do that. That's not Stan. Like, no, like,
Yeah. No, I
I'm not a
completely understand what you mean there. Like, I don't like that either. And I was kind of worried that I was kind of making them too different from canon, but at the same time, I want them to, be slightly different because they've had a different upbringing.
even though they are different, I think it's so much of like their line of thinking is a little bit different. Like their personality
Hmm.
traits are still there, but like I
Hmm.
said, like there are certain aspects of their personality that are just more fleshed out
Hmm.
ones. Because say what
Yeah.
you want about Stan, even though he's a con artist, he's
Mhm.
hardworking.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Fun fact, Stan is still a little bit of a con artist on the farm.
oh, thank God, thank God, thank
only,
God. Because like
only a,
I'm not I was a little concerned because I was like, shit, farmers like the very pure of heart and like they can't really afford to be con artists. Like, is Stan not gonna steal anymore? Like, I mean, that's fine. That's fine if he's not, but that's
yeah.
Stan. Like, let him
Well,
steal an
for
apple every once in a while.
well, for this, Dan, he he does a little extra stuff on the side to earn extra money because sometimes the farm doesn't do well, and
Of
he needs
course.
supplies and stuff for the farm. So any con work he does do is for the farm. So like he does things like selling moonshine, or I don't know, betting on horses, I guess he would do, or
Mm-hmm.
like rigging a bet with his horse, truffles and
Aw,
tinsel.
truffles.
Yeah. And what else would he do? I have a list somewhere. I don't have it with me now, but there's definitely a list.
He does so many
But
things on the side. You've made a laundry list of all the
yeah,
shit he does on the side. I love it.
yeah. It's a bit of a short list. Oh, and overcharging a few things for in the farmers market because they go down to the farmers market and stuff like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
haven't. I still need to draw that because it's just such a wholesome image, I think. But
Aw.
yeah. But yeah, he does still kind of. Yeah, he still kind of cheats his way, and he does gamble, play poker and shit like that. Goes down to the bar and all
Mm-hmm.
that crap. He's still Stan. He's just um, he probably. I would say he's probably more hardworking on the farm
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because yeah,
He's
he's
still
just
Stan. He
constantly
just
out
has a
there.
sexy tan.
Yeah.
Freckles.
People always comment on the farmer tan. They tell me how it makes them go nuts, and it's just like, okay, cool.
I mean, it's such a good tan. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all.
I think what I just
Yeah.
love personally about the AU is, I'm from Tennessee. And like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was born and raised here in the South and everything. And like, just a little side note, I think one of the reasons why I love Fiddleford McGucket as a character so much is
Mm.
he kind of breaks the stereotype that all Southerners are stupid. Like,
Mm.
Sandy Cheeks kind of did that too with SpongeBob. She's from Texas and she's got a thick Southern accent, but she's smart as
Mm.
hell. And they sort of did
Yeah.
that with Fiddleford too. Like, yeah, he's from the South, and sure he goes a little
Mhm.
loopy towards the end, but it's not because of the moonshine.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
because
he's.
his best friend fucking shit up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but but with the farmer's stand,
Yeah.
it's sort of with the farmer AU, it sort of shows like some things in a more positive
Mhm.
light, like moonshine. Yeah, like we have moonshine
Mhm.
tasting bars all over here, and it's so much fun. You pay
Hmm.
$5, and they'll give you five tiny swallows of moonshine so that you can taste different flavors. Like my boyfriend's
Oh.
obsessed with the apple pie one. There's a green apple that I love,
Ooh.
and it's a lot of fun. If you ever come down here to Gatlinburg, I'm gonna take you to one so that like
Oh, hell yeah.
your
Yeah.
writing can be a little more authentic. Like not only is Stan making moonshine, he's making blackberry moonshine. He makes
Oh,
eggnog
damn. Okay.
moonshine. What?
Okay. Sorry, I'm
The
just agreeing
eggnog,
with you.
the eggnog moonshine is really good. Like, there's a coffee
Ooh.
moonshine that's pretty good. Like, there's a lot of different flavors, just like wine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I want to try that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, I prefer to join fandoms while it's quiet anyway, because
Same.
like it's just it's how do I explain? It's easier to enjoy yourself. I feel like
Hmm.
when it's like quieter and just fewer people, and you're not getting bombarded with people, being like, "Oh, your head canon is wrong, my head canon is right," stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
it's a fandom that I just chill with at the end of the day after work. I'm not
Yeah.
looking to fight anyone. I just want to draw shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, gush too much because if I do, we'll be here for another 3 hours. But
Fair enough.
you've had, in my opinion, an incredible impact on the fandom because not only did you awaken an entirely new genre of being thirsty for Stan and Ford, like
Sorry.
you you brought almost kind of like a softer side. Cause, well, yes, um, we do enjoy the good angst. We enjoy the feels. We
Mhm.
enjoy every once in a while. Lord knows I do as well. Like, but you sort of bring something to the fandom that is truly just comfort. It feels like a warm cup of hot chocolate at the end of the day, a nice warm hug at the end of the day.
Aww.
At the end of the day, these characters that we
Hmm.
have fallen in love with and grown to care about, they're okay. In this place, in
Yeah.
this time, they are okay. And
Yeah.
it's a nice balance with everything else we've got in the fandom, because I love everything else we have in the fandom. And I even
Hmm.
love it when you get angsty sometimes, like that comment you
Mm.
recently made, like, and then we're gonna go sailing, right? Like, and then,
Oh
like,
yeah,
it was
that one
funny.
was more for comedic effect.
It was definitely funny. It's funny, but it's also kind of funny, like,
Yeah.
oh no, sort of sense. Like, you laugh and then you think about it and you're like, oh no, and then you
Yeah.
laugh a little bit more.
I got a lot of like, laughing, crying reactions from people. Like
Hmm.
I look at the tags people write and they're like, ha ha ha, oh no, you know? It's really amusing to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's just.
more for like comedic effect and the fact that I haven't drawn them like that in ages. So like it was kind
Hmm.
of refreshing to draw the canon for once because then I don't have to worry about the tan line. But
You love to hate it. It's you love to hate
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, but thank you for saying that. Like I really appreciate people finding comfort in it because like when I started drawing the Mystery Farm A, it was literally all for my comfort. And to
Hmm.
be honest, I thought I was being a bit selfish because I wasn't, drawing other people's characters or drawing for other people as much as I really should. I feel like I should have. But like,
Hmm.
I went through a lot last year, so I really needed the comfort, and that's what it provided for me. And like, I'm really happy to hear that it provided that for someone else as well. But
Yeah, I think it really transpired like that. You should create what you want to create. Like, you created
yeah.
what you needed, not what everybody else needed. You created what you
Hmm.
needed, and people found that
Yeah.
within themselves as well.
Yeah. And I'm glad people take comfort in it because like. That's all I want. Like that's all I want for these two. Stan and Ford. They
Hmm.
deserve, you know,
Hmm.
a good life. Ford deserved to go to that college, and Stan deserved to have a family because he family is so fucking important to him. Like
Hmm.
a blind man can tell you that because he just cared so much about children, especially and his
Oh
parents and
yeah.
his brothers.
Hmm.
So like I.
Head the headcanon that he wanted children but never had children always kind of kills me. like
Yeah. Well, although
it's
I'm not sure if he never had children because there was this one excerpt. I think that they were meant to play it off as a joke, but I don't know how true it is. But Dan was talking about watching Scary Movie with a date, and then he was talking about how how it's like, oh, your date gets scared, you put your arm around her, next thing you know, you got a kid, and your whole life falls apart. He does that. He said that whole thing. So like, I feel like it implies that he has a kid somewhere that he can't see. So I
I
feel like he has a kid. So yeah.
maybe I always kind of wrote it off as that what his dad told him, and that's
Oh
why he was
really?
like, well, that's how I interpreted it. Like, because if you watch
I
Stan as he's saying it, he's kind of like sinking and getting sad, like, but not in a
yeah, but
sad like, damn, I really miss someone, but like, damn, like, I don't know.
mm,
I wouldn't be surprised if like Philbert literally said the same thing to him. Like, he was gonna pull out a
mm,
scary movie for his sons, and he was telling Stand for movies are great. You scare the girl snuggles up next to you. Next thing you know, you gotta raise a kid. Your life falls apart, and instead of sagging, like he sort of like glares at them, like, yeah, your life goes to shit. Like,
yeah,
and the kids are just like looking at each other, like, poor Sherby. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
an interesting interpretation. Like I always figured he was just kind of recalling a memory. That's why he looked so sad because he's got his kid that he can't see. But, I mean,
maybe.
that's how I interpreted it. But I don't know. I feel like both Stan and Ford have children somewhere. Like especially Ford. He probably has a kid
Uh,
in another dimension or something.
oh no,
Yeah.
maybe. Oh no.
Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like he had to have been getting some. I'm sorry. Like,
I
probably had like a half alien kid out there.
Oh my god. What if he has like that one Rick and Morty episode where like he just like the sex robot one?
Well, he did build a kissing robot, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, do you have any plans for or future art projects that you feel comfortable with hinting at or sharing any goals for
Oh yeah.
yourself?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, like I mentioned before, I want to turn the original Jackie Stan into a comic. I just need to get over myself and actually draw it. And I plan on continuing drawing the Mystery Farm. I have some plans for that, but I'm gonna keep that quiet just in case it doesn't happen. And what else? What else? Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay, for the Mystery Farm. I had this idea since a few months back. Well, probably about a year back actually. Um, I want to do like a lyric video, but with a twist. So it won't
Ooh.
exactly be a lyric video, I guess. But I kind of want to, wait and surprise people.
That
Let people
okay.
find out. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely want to, expand on the mystery farm a little bit more because I really love that AU. I think it's my favorite one right now. And what else do I want to do? I think if I ever feel like it, I'll kind of draw more for a different AU. Maybe if I find one that I find a bit more interesting, maybe I'll expand on the pony AU more. It's kind of all up in the air to be honest because like I'm just kind of like I kind of play it by ear, if you know what I mean. Like I just
Yeah,
do whatever, whenever.
that's
That's
a
the
good
best way I can
thing.
describe it. Yeah, yeah. It's not too bad. I do wish I can like plan things out more, but well, I mean, I can. I can plan things out, but then I'm like, oh, I want to do this instead. So it's
Right.
just I end up doing something different to what I had planned to do. But that's not exactly a bad thing, you know.
No, I mean this is fan art. You don't have to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you don't have to take yourself
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you can take yourself as seriously as you want, but you don't have to
Hmm.
have this elaborate plan and date set of when you're going to release certain things. Like, you
Hmm.
could do whatever the fuck you want with it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I think my most recent plan will be the lyric video because I've had that in mind for ages now, and I just want to get on with it.
Hmm.
I might show you some of it, behind the scenes, wink, wink, but probably won't
Oh.
talk about it here.
Oh, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? I'm special.
Yes, you are. You're special and lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But, yeah, I think that's all I can remember now, to be honest. But I mean, if I ever wanted to be super ambitious, I would love to make like a graphic novel or a dating sim, like on the
oh,
mystery farm.
if
But
you're
I
gonna
don't know
make a
how
dating
likely that would ever happen.
if you're gonna make a dating sim, please have it be available for Chromebook. Like, please make
I'll
it
keep that in mind if it ever happens.
make it an app or something. Like a dating sim.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, I mean, I've always wanted to make like a graphic novel in that style, but with
Yeah,
one of my ships, maybe like Kelvin and Ford, or
yeah,
Jackie and Stan, stuff like that. But
yeah. Well, like,
I'm probably in the distant future.
yeah. Well, one thing I've always really liked about this fandom is that this fandom is a huge fan of Zines. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes,
Zine? Yeah. And I think it's
yeah,
just miraculously enough, despite Gravity Falls being so popular, there's not a lot of merchandise and shit for it, you know? Especially when
yeah,
you compare it to other Disney stuff. And I'll never
yeah,
understand
yeah,
why,
yeah.
but like, and so this is a fandom that really thrives on, you know what, fuck it. If you're not gonna do it, we'll do it ourselves. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see why someday, like, you couldn't come out with like a farmer Stan sign, you know, like
Oh man,
maybe
I
primarily.
have been thinking about that. I really have been thinking about that. But I don't know the first thing about making a Zine.
Me
So
neither.
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who are a part of it or have organized it, Zines and stuff. So I mean, I can always ask them and see how they go about it. Because like, I would freaking love to just make a nice wholesome picture book of the farm. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I think that'd be
like
really cool.
yeah. I mean, I hope enough people would be interested in it. But
No, I would definitely, yeah. I could think of
yeah.
a good handful of people that would definitely be interested in and would even want to participate in it too. Like, maybe,
A collaboration. Okay,
I
that's an
mean,
interesting idea.
have all the time in the world, something to think about.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep on thinking about that.
Like, and that's just me personally, like, as a writer. Like, if I'm writing a
Yeah, no,
Gravity
I
Falls
get that.
fanfic and, like, I'm mentioning that someone's favorite flavor ice cream is mint chocolate chip, whatever, but
Mhm.
then, like, some new information comes out, release, and it's actually cookie dough, I'm like, shit, I gotta
Mhm.
go back and fix it. Like, is this gonna change
Yeah,
the whole, like, it doesn't
yeah.
matter, but it does. Like,
No,
I don't.
I completely get that. Like, it's okay to be like that, you know. Like,
Mhm,
I used to be really like that, like being nitpicky about sticking to canon and stuff, especially when it comes to like art styles. Like,
mhm,
at the moment I get very nitpicky about the eyes and nose because like
mhm.
I'm determined to keep it that way now, even though back then I used to try and like change it a little bit, but like it to me it looks best when their eyes and nose look like a Muppet. You know what I mean? Like I love it.
You do do a really good. You do a really good job with the eyes and nose. I
Oh,
like the
thank
eyes and
you.
nose. I love it whenever you make their eyes really big, like especially Ford, because like you do that a lot. Like when he first found out Junior's name, or when he first saw Stan drawing with ink, like his eyes got all big and shiny, or like that one comic
Oh,
where Stan's ice cream is
oh,
knocked
you mean the
over and his
pupils?
eyes like you
Yeah,
can't even see the pupils anymore. They're so fucking like you have to zoom in like 5 times. Oh, there's his
yeah.
pupil. Like it's so like I love the way you like make their pupils small and then big and then like I love
Thank
it. I love
you.
it. Like
But honestly, it's my favorite part of the whole thing to draw, like, the different sized pupil. And it's my absolute favorite drawing Dawn with her eyes like massive like that. I don't
oh,
know I don't know why, but I love the idea of this cute little baby with this intense death stare. You know what I mean? Like
because
it's funny to me, I don't know.
I've seen babies like that. Like I'll be like at a table at work and there'll just be a baby that's just staring at me and I'm like the fuck you like what do you want? Like
Yeah.
I love Dawn as a character because I don't know why, but she kind of gives me Peridot vibes from Steven Universe. Like she's this
Oh
tiny,
shit.
well, like she's this angry little slice of pie. She's so cute, but she'll kill you. Like she'll stab
You're
you. Like
right. Oh
she'll
my
get too
god, you're
close.
right.
I mean,
I never thought of that before
I,
actually. You're
like
right.
I could just see Stan or somebody going up. Aw, Dawn, you're just an angry little slice of pie. Shut up! Like,
Yeah,
like she's kind of like a cat
yeah,
in a sense. Like she's so sweet, but she's like, I want
yeah,
to rule the world. Like, what
yeah.
vine she reminds me of? She reminds me of that vine. I want to be president when I grow up. Aw, so I can make slavery legal again. Aw, like, well, maybe not do that. Like,
Yeah, maybe not. Oh god,
like
I didn't think that way before.
I
Yeah.
mean, she's just such a good character. She has so much potential. Like, I love that
Oh yeah.
you did of like her like cutting throats. Like,
Yeah,
oh, fucking cut you. Like, Will one day come back for vengeance, and like
yeah,
Ford will stand up to him and be like, "What are you gonna do about it?" "Oh, I'm not gonna do anything. My niece, however,
yeah,
gonna kick your ass."
yeah. I wanted Dawn to be just as chaotic as Stan and Ford. You know,
she, she also gives me
like
kind of Mabel vibes. Like, I'll give you my blood. Like.
Yeah, she's like a more fighty Mabel. Like a Mabel is
Mhm.
more likely to fight you rather than give you glitter. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh yeah. She also this is another character she reminds me of. She reminds me of the mom from the Mitchells versus the Machines. Like
Oh, I love her.
like
I
what
love
if
her so much.
what if like Stan or Jackie or somebody she realized like was in trouble and she goes like my sweet Jade and like
Yeah.
completely like decimates like I have made the metal ones pay for their crimes. My daughter's scary now.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, fun fact. In the spirit of Pride Month, Dawn is actually Ace.
Hmm.
I've been meaning to
Interesting.
draw her with the flag, but I just kept other stuff came and got in the way,
Oh,
you know. But like,
draw her like baby. She's got a tiny little flag, and she's like, "Ace, deal with it, yeah!"
yeah,
Like,
oh, it's both Dawn and Jason, the ginger one. They're both Ace.
ah, I
Yeah.
don't remember that. I think I remember one of the two twins. So it's those two. Oh my god, like, like I don't know. Like every time I see them, I just get taken back.
Well,
Like,
Jason and Jackson.
yeah, in a good way. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like they always surprise me. I guess that's the
Yeah.
best way to put it. Like they always surprise me in the best
Yeah.
possible way.
Yeah. God, I need to draw them more. I actually have some other sketches of them that I need to like color and line and
Hmm.
color and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's also this other like drawing I want to do of them. When they were kids, they actually accidentally burnt down the barn, and
What?
yeah, yeah, they burned down the barn accidentally.
The whole
I
fucking barn.
Yep. I still haven't decided how, but I want those two to be like the chaotic delinquents, you know, but like
My
completely
God.
accidentally delinquent, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
they just try and have fun, but they keep running into trouble, and then dad has to come and like save them. Like Stan has gotten their asses out of so much shit. It's ridiculous. But
Oh my gosh. I
yeah,
love the irony. Like,
yeah.
because I love Stan, but let's be honest, as a little baby, he was quite the little, like,
Oh, he'll do
delinquent.
little shit.
Oh yeah, he was definitely a little shit. Like, he's just, one
Yeah.
night, he's just holding himself cradle position on his bed, like, what have I done? Like,
Oh,
they're just like me, shit. Fuck.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also really love the other pair of twins, Stella and Junior. They
Yes,
are,
they're the oldest ones. Yeah.
yes, they're
Yeah.
incredible as well. I love,
Oh, thank you.
well, they're all incredible. I love all the babies, but I think like Stella and Junior are so unique
Mhm.
in the sense that like maybe I'm only saying this because I'm the oldest, but like they were the first, you know?
To be fair, I mean, like, that I'm very attached to those two because, like, they are the two canon children they have in the rest of the AUs. Whereas
Mhm.
Dawn, Jason, and Jackson, they only exist in the Farmer AU. They're like
Mhm.
they're nowhere else to be seen. And
Mhm.
I kind of want to keep it that way because like um the farmer AU, I wanted Stan to have a family, so I gave him a big ass family, you know? So
Mhm.
like yeah, it just
Yeah,
makes sense.
I think it would
Yeah.
sort of take away from the travesty of the other AUs if the five
Yeah.
kids continued on. Like, it sort of
Hmm.
symbolizes how much of Stan's life had to be put on hold for Ford, because we already kind of knew that from
Hmm.
canon. Not that, no
Yeah.
offense to Stan, not that he had much of a life to pause anyhow, but like
Hmm. Yeah,
in
true.
the in the Jackie Stan AU, like he had something going for him. He had, you
Hmm.
know, he had a lot more he had to sort of like drop to help Ford. And
Hmm.
so it really weighs in the more the sacrifice again, just how important family is to him. And I think by not having the later three children involved, it's sort of, it's
Hmm.
like a measurement, like see just how much he had to give up. And he
Yeah.
doesn't even know. Like, of course, Dan's
Yeah.
not gonna have any fucking clue that he gave it the potential of having three children for his brother, but he did.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hmm.
I made that all depressing and shit.
No, it's
Like,
fine. It's fine. Like, well, as you were saying that, I was just trying to remember like which AUs they actually exist in because it's made me think about the Dad Stan AU where he's just like a house
Yes.
spouse,
I
while
love that.
Jackie goes out and earns the money and stuff.
I love
Yeah.
that. It's like I love
You.
it whenever they break the stereotype that like the
Mhm.
mom stays at home and the dad goes to work. And while that's great, like
Yeah.
sometimes like the woman is best in the workforce and the dad is
Mhm.
best, as the stay-at-home dad. Like it just works out better
Yeah.
for them in that dynamic. And like
Yeah.
it's so sweet to like I always keep going back to that one where he's making cookies and like he's
Yeah.
kind of just clinging to him and I'm like, he's so
Yeah.
soft.
Oh my
Like
God, that was my first picture of them, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Ah.
I think it was. Like that
Yeah.
was the introduction and like another one that always kind of makes me gush is the first I think Honey asked this question back in the Jackie Stan where like do you see yourselves getting married? Like do you see like a future? And this is
Ah.
like in the
Yeah.
homeless AU and like Stan's
Yeah.
daydreaming and like someone pointed it out. I don't know who, but I love the commonality that like in that little flashback, because in Stan's mind, he changes a little bit. He gets his glasses,
Mhm.
he,
Yeah.
cuts his hair, he
Mhm.
changes, but Jackie, she stays the same because in his
Yeah.
mind, she's perfect just the way she is. And,
Yeah.
you see them hold the two little bundles and then it goes back to reality and he's like, maybe like, he's hopeful for the future and it's just great.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting emotional.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a good kind of emotion. It's
Yeah.
just, it's again, it's one of my favorite pieces of yours that I'll go back to and be like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Shut up, like go away.
No, I've completely forgotten about that comic. Oh, it's one of my favorite
It's,
ones that I've made.
it's
I
so
feel like redrawing
good.
it.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, like I'm for you
Oh,
redrawing it,
thank
but
you.
also like it's so good. Like it doesn't really like it's fine. Just
Oh, okay. All right, then I'll just leave it.
Well, that's the great thing about like reboots and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's just because you're redoing it doesn't mean you're getting rid of the original. It's still there. If you
Yeah.
prefer the
Yeah.
original, just go,
Exactly.
yeah, go check it out. But like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then recently you
Uh,
introduced a Kel Ford baby. Like he's a little
Yeah.
cutie. I love how bizarre the premise is in the best possible way because as
Yeah.
bizarre as it is, given like who it's coming from, it doesn't surprise me one fucking bit. Like,
Yeah.
yep, found
Yeah.
an egg, hatched it, kept, yep, same shit as
Yep.
always. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, to truth be told, I just wanted them to have a baby, but I didn't want to make anything too weird, like man preg stuff. Like, I'm not into that. So, like,
no.
I wanted to, I thought it would be a good idea to bring in an anomaly and,
Hmm.
have them have a baby that way. So basically,
Hmm.
what happens is that Kelvin finds an egg that's made of pure, I think it's topaz. I
Hmm.
can't remember, but he found that the egg was like unusually warm for a gemstone that's been found in a cave. So he decides to take it with him and study it and stuff. And somehow it like collects their DNA and it like incubates a kid. And it turns into like that little gemstone kid, and he just kind of stays all sparkly and purple and stuff. So like
Hmm.
yeah, they just call him Topaz because he's literally just made of gemstone. He's basically like a gem from Steven Universe, except he doesn't
Eh,
have all the powers and stuff, but he
mhm,
kind of looks like them but sparklier. It's the
mhm.
best way I can kind of describe it. But
No, and he's so cute. What can you tell us about
yeah.
Topaz's personality? Like, what's he like as a kid?
Oh,
What's he like as he grows up?
as a kid, he was like, he had the usual kind of childhood curiosity, just like, he was very kind of like, what was it, like, reckless? Is that the right word? Not
Hmm?
reckless, but like, would always get into shit, just kind of
Hmm.
exploring the forest or something, or like, exploring Ford's office and like wrecking shit or dropping chemicals and shit like that. He's a very curious baby. But
Jesus
I should
Christ, between him, Jackson, and Jason, the farms, like, no
yeah.
one's down. That's what we need. We need a new, like, a next generation mystery trio. Topaz,
Oh
Jason,
hell
and
yeah.
Jackson just wreaking havoc throughout Gravity
Oh
Falls and the
hell
farm.
yeah. That would be
Like,
so fun actually.
yeah, just the cousins, like, just getting into trouble and shit. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck you
Yeah,
mean
but
you
I
brought a
mean,
Gremloblin home?
yeah. I mean, like Topaz grows up to be more like, full of attitude. Like he's a bit of a
Oh,
bitch. Yeah,
oh,
but like he's
oh,
not evil. He doesn't turn against his family or anything like that. He
no,
just he just has more attitude, I guess.
that's a
That's the
good
best way I can describe it.
contrast. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
contrast because, like, Ford and Kelvin, like, they're both kind of, well,
Hmm.
um, I guess more so Kelvin, but Ford, they're both pretty like peacekeepers in a sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird with Ford because it really just depends on who's he in the room with. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if there's some,
Well,
if
with
there,
Ford, I feel like Ford is kind of chaotic regardless.
yeah, like if he has to be the voice of reason in the room, he will be, but that's
Oh
only if
yeah.
no one else will step up to it. But
Yeah, yeah.
so to
He
have the
definitely Lopez definitely has Ford's confidence in that regard. Definitely.
right,
And I think that
cool,
kind of contributes to his bitchiness. Because he's kind of
right,
like Topaz is kind of like, I don't need anybody kind of thing. Or
hmm
I still haven't fully established Topaz as a person yet. He's just kind of a character that I threw out there because I wanted to give Kelvin a baby, mostly.
hmm
You know? Like,
yeah,
I just think it's really cute for Kelvin to actually have a kid because he's just a really sweet and loving guy. He can be, cheeky,
hmm
but he's still a very loving
yeah.
guy. And when it
Well,
comes to like Jackie Stan's kids and stuff like that, he loves all of them.
mm, yeah, well, like
Yeah.
it's so sweet because like I remember when I first saw him, I almost kind of wondered. I was like, oh, are he and Ford gonna adopt Shifty together? Like, is he gonna
Mm.
be the one to step in and say like, dudes, no, you're not. No, like, no, he's not an experiment. He's like a living thing. No, we're taking him inside the house. And like, what? No, we can't do that. No, honey, we're taking him inside the house. Like, this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I love Topaz and I love like the dynamic there, and it's
Yeah.
such
Thank you.
so many feels.
Yeah. And it's not too late for me to add in Shifty. I just haven't decided on how. There's a lot we can discuss there, really.
hmm
So like,
Well, are there any other characters in the Gravity Falls universe that you are thinking of adding to the Farmer AU, or like because we've got a lot of
Dan.
characters that might come up in the years.
Hmm. Dan. I want to add in Dan because he's just perfect.
Ah,
Like,
Manly Dan,
yeah,
yes.
manly Dan. Oh, and this other character. Not a lot of people are a fan of me doing this, but I want to make things a bit complicated and add in Preston Northwest. Except he's going
Mm.
to be the same age as Stan and Ford. So instead of Preston Northwest being the age of who was it?
I
Uh
think he's like 12 when Ford is like 30. Like he's like
yeah,
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 he's like Dipper and Mabel's age back in the day.
yeah. So instead of him being, the 12-year-old of the canon, he is instead his father's father, if that makes sense. So it's Preston Northwest and his father is actually his son. Basically they switch places.
Okay.
Aldwin Northwest. Did that make sense?
It did. It did. I could definitely see that
Yeah.
having a lot of potential.
But, like with Preston Northwest, like I want him to be, the element that caused havoc for the farm. And,
Mm.
being a rich guy and, Jackie being a former rich person, I want them to kind of know
Mm.
each other somehow. and I can't explain more. I can't say
Mm.
more.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. I
Yeah,
like
because
that. That's
it would be a
exciting.
huge spoiler. Yeah, it would be a huge
Nice.
spoiler. But yeah, like so swapping ages with his actual dad and making him like the dad. That's kind of important to the story because I want him to be the same age as Stan and Ford. So
Mhm.
yeah, so like I don't know. I feel like it will be very interesting.
Mhm.
Hopefully, yeah. And I kind of want to make him gay, but who knows?
I
We'll wait and see
mean,
what happens.
that'd be interesting too. I mean, shoot, it's your AU. Do what you want.
Yeah, like, because he radiates, the kind of homophobe who's secretly gay. You know what I mean?
I
That's the
get
kind of
that.
vibe
Yeah.
I get from him sometimes. So like he's got this trophy wife whom he might not actually love anyway, but he's married for show. Like I get
Right.
that whole vibe from him. So I mean, it's like it's a possibility. We'll see what happens.
I like that headcanon because it makes sense. Like
Yeah,
time and place and status. I like that.
yeah, yeah. Like I think they made him very much one-dimensional in that show. Just the bad guy who uh, abuses towards his family. So like I feel like he's open for more interpretation to kind of flesh out by the fans. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. I
Yeah,
have to
no
leave
worries.
for work like now. So
Oh shit. Okay.
no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm glad we got to do this. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Like, oh my gosh, I was like fangirling this entire fucking time. um,
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
well, ladies, gentlemen, and all the above, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night, everybody, and stay weird.